I don't think Volkswagen get enough credit for what they've done with electric cars. They started with the e-Golf and the e-Up, pretty sensibly sized cars, and then they started their big electrification journey with the ID.3, which had the MEB platform underneath. And it's the MEB platform that underpins this, the ID.7. This is their 6th ID car. And ID.6 is only in China. You've got the ID Buzz, you've got the 3, the 4, the 5, and now the 7. And this is their flagship. It's the one that they're most proud of, the fanciest one. It's got a new infotainment system, a new, more efficient motor, and some other little improvements inside. It still has the old buttons, unfortunately. But hey, can't have everything, can you? Volkswagen are only just coming out with the ID.7, so you could say they're a little bit late to the saloon sedan, if you're in America, party. So will this attract people that would ordinarily perhaps go for a Model 3, Polestar or an i4? Let's get inside, because I'm absolutely freezing and I'm soaked. It's just awful weather. There's two things that this car is supposedly good at: comfort and efficiency. So far, in terms of comfort, the seat is very comfortable. Oh, that's good. It's soft but firm in all the right places. I'll go through it later, but we've got massage seats, which I badly need because I've been stuck on the motorway for 4 hours to get here. And lots of lovely ooh and ah as you start to do all that. Oh, yeah, there we go. Brilliant. Okay, so let's see about efficiency. I've reset the trip meter on here. We've got 85% battery, 264 miles of range. So if that's true, I mean, that's a really good range, right? So let's have a little trip then. Let's go to Deer Park. Start.
Please drive to the route shown.
You've got a massive 15-inch display. It's really clear, very responsive as well. Feels just like a normal kind of iPad or something. It does show charging options on here as well, although we'll have a look later to see whether it can actually do a good route guidance with charging stops. But for the moment, let's just go for a little drive and see how it is. Off we go. I mean, this is an enormous car. It's almost 5 meters long, and you wouldn't know it because the turning circle is really good. Their augmented reality display is something they're particularly proud of. So when you're driving along, you get the navigation directions projected right in front of you. In fact, not only that, you get the speed limit and the speed you're doing and all the rest of it as well. And it's really good. So it's just projected onto the road. I really like that because it means you don't have to look down, even though if you do look down, you see the speed on the dash in front of you. But I love having it right in front. It even flashes up if you're getting too close to the edge. It'll flash that on screen as well. But very smooth, very responsive. I'm going to try and find some bumps in a minute to see what the suspension's like. Luckily in England, it's quite easy to find bumps. Now this is the absolute worst weather you can possibly test efficiency in, but we'll see if it's efficient in this car in these awful conditions. It's raining, it's windy. But one of the things I'm really proud of is the drag coefficient. The drag coefficient is a fancy name for how aerodynamic it is, and they're pleased with that. 0.23. Going around a mini roundabout. Really good turning circle. So the turning circle for this car is 10.9 meters, which is actually only a little bit more than a Kia Niro, despite the fact this is much bigger. I just went over some bumps and didn't feel it too much, so I think the suspension is pretty good. Certainly much softer than the Teslas that I've driven. One of the advantages of this kind of shape is that it's not quite as wallowy, I suppose, as a lot of SUVs can be, so it feels sporty and it holds the road really nicely. Now there are different segments for various cars, car shapes. This one is an E segment, which is pretty big, and it's classed as kind of an executive car. Obviously, being an executive car, this is the kind of machine that you would expect business owners to buy, or sales reps, and probably the type of people that are going to be stuck on roads a lot. They're going to be driving an awful lot. So I suppose one of the things this car has to be good at is it has to be comfortable. And not only that, if you're doing long distances on the motorway, it's got to be efficient as well, because efficiency means you go further on the charge. You also save money, of course, because you get more miles for your money. It's a very serene experience, I think, being in this car. It's a lovely, calm drive. This has a new upgraded motor, and that combined with the shape allows it to be far more efficient, despite being the same battery, the same 77 kilowatt hour battery that the ID.3 has. So it's going to be really interesting to see just how efficient it is. At launch, it's got a 77 kilowatt hour battery. They are going to add a larger battery in the near future, and that's going to bring the range to 400 and something miles. Oh God, I need to find that out, don't I? Oh, lovely turning circle. Now obviously I'm going through a deer park, so it's not the place to test the 0 to 60, but this car has plenty of punch to it. Inside the car, it's very comfortable. The seats are lovely. They're kind of an Alcantara sort of stuff, so there's a nice fabric seat. There's an option for a sunroof, a massive sunroof, and it's a very clever one as well, because you can actually tell it to be opaque or transparent. It's one of the things you can ask the voice assistant to do, so that's very, very cool. I love little gadgets like that. This one doesn't have it, so it is quite a dark interior in here. You've got wireless charging in here, you've got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. You've got 2 USB-Cs in this little bit here, and in fact this kind of closes, which is quite neat. Under here, if I can work out, oh there we go, press that and you can access this, and it's incredibly deep, and there's a little tray in there. I suppose you can put money and stuff if you want to, if you've got any money after you buy this. The glove compartment is relatively small, and I can't even close it. You've got some mood lighting in here. You've got these kind of interesting lines all the way along. In terms of the quality of the interior, it's better than the ID.3. There is a kind of a slightly scratchy plastic up here. This is all soft with nice stitching on it though. And yes, this kind of fabric-y Alcantara sort of style stuff everywhere. A little bit of scratchy plastic along here and here where the controls are. Oops, I just accidentally, good old touch controls, I accidentally locked the car then. Kind of squishy up here. I mean, overall it's nice. I mean, whether it's worth the money, I don't know. I mean, it's not, I suppose it's premium, but it's not luxury. It's certainly not luxury. So yeah, it's not too bad in here, I think. And I do love this big screen just here. And the main thing really are the seats, and the seats are comfortable. A bit wet, but here you can see the lovely Ergo Active seats with the lumbar support and back and forward and the upright. And you can set different positions on here, and yes, do the massaging there, which is rather good, and I kind of want all cars to have that. You'll recognise these controls if you've driven an ID car before. They're kind of weird, touchy controls here. I'm still not convinced about them. The same kind of touch controls here. I would rather have normal buttons, to be honest. Same with the controls on the steering wheel. You get a little bit of haptic feedback, so when you change the volume control, for instance, on here, you actually slide. When I first got an ID.3 to test, I accidentally put the volume up all the time because I was kind of sliding on that. But it's something you get used to, I suppose. So you'll see that we've got this beautiful big 15-inch display right here. And pretty much everything you want to control on the car, you can do it on this screen. What's nice about this car, and maybe it's just me, but I like buttons, and I like having a dashboard, and I like having a HUD. So this kind of gives you everything. I don't really like it when everything's too reliant just on the touchscreen. But anyway, they've done a lot of work on here to improve their previous ID models, and you've got a fixed bar at the top and fixed bar at the bottom. They stay there even if you have CarPlay and Android Auto, and both work wirelessly. That fills the screen and you get an absolutely beautiful display on there. But you've got all the essential stuff down here. So you've got all the climate controls and all the little kind of widgets you can add at the top, and all the kind of the essential stuff. And it's all customizable. So if you want different buttons at the top, you can change it around. So all the klima stuff is at the bottom here. You've also got these little sliders here, which it take a little bit of getting used to, I suppose, but that's now illuminated, so it should be a little bit better than it was.
Friday afternoon.
So you got audio in the middle, and you got the climate controls for the left and the climate controls for the right over here. There is a sync button there, so if you press that, it'll sync it on both sides. Pressing the klima button, you'll see that you've got this new layout. Now this is going to seem very familiar to anyone that's got a Tesla Model 3 or Model Y. You can now reposition these vents to show where the air is coming in. So that's now starting to blow air in my face. I'll move that around and move that down there. So you've also got a heated steering wheel. These little preset options up here that tell you whether that's going to blow into your face or it's going to just go to the drive or whatever. Air care on, which I guess stops the pollutants from coming in. Loads of different options here. What I really like, and the ID.3 even did this, but you've got all these just basic kind of human readable controls here, like defog the windows, cool my feet, warm my feet, fresh air, warm my hands, rapid heating, rapid cooling. You've got 3 levels of heated seats there. But not only that, what makes this car a bit fancy is you've got massaging. So should we do that now? Because I need it. I've been stuck in the car all morning. And I'll start. Ooh. Ooh, oh, oh. Oh, yeah, that's all right. That's quite nice. So imagine if you're driving along and you're listening to kind of your chill out tunes and you've got the massaging. I like that. Apparently these are award-winning seats, apparently. I can't remember what award they've won, but they've won an award. Oh, nice. They've won an award. I might just stay here for a while. Intensity. Oh, really? That's on the lowest intensity now. And then, oh, blimey, that's like a Thai massage. So that's really nice. Okay, let's stop that, otherwise I'm going to lose concentration a little bit, aren't I? Okay, so I'm now going to connect CarPlay just to show you how that looks. Because a lot of people do use CarPlay, they don't use the in-car navigation. I say CarPlay or Android Auto. So it uses Bluetooth to connect, and there we go, you can see what that looks like. Now, I've never seen CarPlay look this good, because it's an enormous screen. That just looks fantastic to me. So that's really great. Something else, while we've got wireless CarPlay, let's just have a look to see. Add stop. Because it's got wireless CarPlay, it does actually come up with charging stations on Apple Maps, which is really good. This is something you don't get with wired CarPlay, in my experience. So actually being able to do charging stations from Apple Maps while you're driving is fantastic. Anyway, that's an aside, and that's not even anything to do with this car, but just it's good. Now, if you don't want to use CarPlay and you want to navigate somewhere and it's going to involve charging, let's see how good it is. If we go to Edinburgh, I've got 80%, and this is saying it's going to be 361 miles.
Your route contains an essential charging stop.
Okay.
Please follow the road for 300 yards.
There we go. So it has actually planned in a charging stop for me, which is nice. If I click there, it tells you what the journey is going to be. So after a while, it's going to stop me at this charging station, and that's great. It's nice that it's actually programmed into it. If you want, and it tells you what percentage you'll get there with as well, so it says I'll get there with 8%. You can also click on other charging stations, and you see that's coming up with loads of other options. That's pretty much like the Tesla experience, I suppose. It would be interesting to have this on a longer journey and then test it out properly. But that's pretty much it with the infotainment. I mean, there's loads of options on here. You can change all of these widgets. You've got voice commands. Hey, Ida, turn the steering wheel heating on.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Ida. If you don't want it to be called Ida, you can change it to anything else you want. Hello, Ida, massage my back. Not message.
I'm not sure.
They're not message. No. Massage.
Read out messages. To use your mobile
all right, okay,
telephone's
all right.
telephone function,
No,
establish a
Ida,
Bluetooth connection.
be quiet.
Please remember
Stop.
that you should not use your
Stop.
mobile telephone while the vehicle is in
Shut
motion.
up. Hello, Ida, massage my back. It's thinking about it. No, you don't want to do it? Hello, Ida, turn on seat massage. Is it going to do it? What do we think? No. No, all right, fine. Well, there we go. Voice commands in anything never work that great, do they? I mean, Siri at home, I battle with Siri all the time. So that's infotainment, based on what I remember. It's much improved on the ID.3. And in terms of sound, it's got a Harman Kardon sound system, and it's really, really good. Let's get out of the car into the rain and have a look at the car from the outside. Not the most inspiring colour, is it? Thankfully, all the B-roll footage is with the blue one. Design-wise, I'm going to say I think it's the best of the ID range. I actually already liked the ID.3. I'm not a massive fan of the ID.4 and 5, the way they look. I like the ID.3, but this I think looks sleeker, cooler. But I do wish they would be a bit more exciting with their design and copy Hyundai and Polestar's homework. Despite being a very big car, it's actually not that wide. It's 1,862 millimeters width. That's without the mirrors. So it doesn't feel too cumbersome actually on the roads. It's 4,961 millimeters length. It's a long, long car. Let's see if such a big car translates to a large boot. And yes, it does, it's enormous. This is a 532 litre boot space. I've got my tape measure because that's actually the most important measurement, isn't it really? You've got a length of 106 centimetres. That's about 100 centimetres, and there is a bit of a false floor here, so we can open that up. And you've got somewhere to put the charging cables. And that's pretty deep actually. That's about 30 centimetres down there. But that's to be expected really, because the ID cars do have pretty good boots. The ID.4 is actually bigger than this, despite being a smaller car. And if you put the seats down, let's have a little measure of the length then. So you're getting about 195 centimetres in total. A big boot. So it's really, oh no, I'm not going to sit there soaking. So it's a really good sized boot, and if you're the kind of person that loves an estate car, you'll be happy to know that the Tourer version of this is coming out later in the year, which with an even bigger boot, of course, since this slopes down a bit. So yeah, very practical. So it comes as standard with these 19-inch Hudson alloy wheels, but you can get 20-inch ones for a little bit extra. But bear in mind that obviously the bigger the wheel, the worse the efficiency. In terms of charging, you've got 11 kilowatts AC charging as standard, and you've also got 175 kilowatts CCS. The larger battery model is going to be faster with charging, but this already is about just under half an hour to get from 10 to 80%, so it's no slouch. And it does have battery preconditioning to ensure fast charging speeds. If we sit in the back, there's so much space. I don't remember the last car I got in that had this much space in the back. It's madness. Look at my knees. This chair is set to my driving position, 5 foot, between 5'10" and 5'11". But one of the things they say in the press release for this, they said it's like a limousine. This is a comfortable limousine, and you can kind of see their point because it is acres of space inside it. Anyway, in the back we've got 2 USB-Cs, and it's nice that we've got some heating controls as well for the people in the back, which will solve a lot of arguments probably on long trips with the family. Down here we've got a couple of cup holders, and lift that up. You've got a ski hatch as well. The seats are really comfortable. It's not often you find a car where you can actually put your legs down on the seat and tuck them underneath the front. It's a big car, this. So the launch edition is £55,870. It's a lot of money. So let's have a look at what that compares to in the market. Tesla change their prices every week, but at the moment the Model 3 long range is £49,990. That does a 390 mile range. And then you've got the Polestar 2, the long range single motor version, that's £48,950. That does a 405 mile range. And then you've got the BMW i4, that's £49,950. And that's a 293 mile range. So it is the most expensive of the cars I've mentioned. It's less than the Mercedes EQE though, which perhaps is what this is going for in terms of market, because that's kind of an executive segment car as well. It's great Volkswagen have a car like this, because there's a lot of people that love the Volkswagen brand, want a nice, long, comfortable saloon that they can eat the motorway miles in. So this is the kind of car that's probably perfect for them. This screen is fantastic. Okay, so I've got 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. So that is efficient. It's not like unbelievably efficient, but it is efficient. Bear in mind it is windy and it is rainy, which does affect things. It would be interesting to test this on a motorway though, doing a much longer journey. I have a feeling that where like a Kia Niro or something like that, which is very efficient, or a Hyundai Kona, they would probably get slightly better figures doing the kind of journey I've done today. I think this would beat it would beat most cars, I imagine, on a long motorway journey, because it will just cut through the air. It's more aerodynamic. It's as simple as that. Anyone that does long journeys a lot will probably really enjoy this. And it's a shame it's got the old ID buttons, which are a bit annoying and no one really likes, and it's just initiated voice command, go away. So it's a shame.
Search for restaurant nearby.
Stop, go away. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you have a Tesla Model 3 or a Polestar 2 or a BMW i4 and you're tempted by this instead? Or maybe you're already driving a Volkswagen Passat or the Arteon, and maybe you want to go electric and this is a natural progression. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Please press the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of other videos. And I'll be back very soon, hopefully in better weather than this. This is just awful weather, God.